A senior Kremlin official confirms that U.S. Special Envoy Steve Witkoff is set to visit Moscow next week. Efforts are picking up speed to find a consensus on ending the nearly four-year war between Russia and Ukraine. Today, Russian President Vladimir Putin's foreign affairs advisor Yuri Ushakov said that Kremlin officials still haven't officially received the initial U.S. peace proposal. As officials in Russia, Ukraine, and the U.S. continue to try and work toward a deal to end the war, the attacks still continue. The southern Ukrainian city of Zaporizhzhia came under a large Russian drone attack overnight, with at least 19 people wounded. Despite claims from the Trump administration that, quote, tremendous progress is being made on talks to end the war, sources tell CNN that there are still significant gaps between what Washington is asking of Ukraine and what Kyiv can accept.
And no final text has been agreed. That's according to a Ukrainian source with direct knowledge of the negotiations. A consensus has been reached on most points, the source told CNN, but there's still no agreement on Ukraine surrendering territory, for example, that has been annexed by Russia but not yet conquered, on the proposal for Ukraine to limit the size of its army to 600,000, which was the figure envisaged in the 28-point plan that was leaked last week.
The source adding that Ukraine renouncing its ambition to become a member of NATO is also unacceptable.
If President Trump was not able to get Putin to a ceasefire prior to this point, how does he think he will pressure him into agreeing into this peace plan? And if he does not, then what's going to happen next? Ukrainian people has gotten hope, but right now it seems that Russia is just dragging time in these negotiations, trying to evade sanctions, and is not intended to end the war.
Today, Russian President Vladimir Putin said he believes the United States understands the complexity of reaching a peace settlement in Ukraine, but did not give any further details on talks. Last night, Trump backed away from the Thursday deadline for Ukraine to agree to the peace plan, saying the deadline for me is when it's over.
So when it comes to ceding land to Russia, is that still on the table or has that changed?
Well, they're talking about going land both ways and trying to clean up a border. You know, you can't go through the middle of a house, you can't go through the middle of a highway. So they're trying to work something. It's a complicated process. Doesn't go that quickly.
What about security guarantees and Ukraine?
Well, we're working that out with Europe. Europe will be largely involved in that. We're working that out with Europe.
Meantime, U.S. presidential envoy Steve Witkoff is facing backlash after a report revealed he helped coach a senior Putin aide on how Russia could pitch President Trump on a peace deal. Bloomberg News reported that Trump's envoy Steve Witkoff, in an October 14 telephone call with Yuri Ushakov, Putin's foreign policy aide, said they should work together on a ceasefire plan for Ukraine, and that Putin should raise it with Trump. Bloomberg said it had reviewed a recording of the conversation and published a transcript of the call.
Have you heard this audio that Bloomberg has of Witkoff coaching the Russians on how to appeal to you?
Well, I haven't heard it, no, but that's a standard thing, you know, because he's got to sell this to Ukraine. He's got to sell Ukraine to Russia. That's what a deal maker does. You got to say, look, they want this. You've got to convince them with this. You know, that's a very standard form of negotiation.
Ushakov said that the leak of the conversation was an attempt to hinder the talks on a possible peace deal for Ukraine.